Hello there, and welcome to my collage art studio. In today's video, we're going to dive into the fun and creative ways you can cut the 16 strips of paper from your collage paper sampler. Each method can add a unique texture and look to your collages. Whether you prefer precision cutting or a more organic torn edge, we've got you covered. Let's get started and explore the different cutting techniques. Here I have the Teal Tango sampler page. So this has 16 strips with all with different designs. So the most obvious thing that we can use to cut is a pair of all-purpose scissors. And I'm going to go ahead and cut along the center line to separate this into two pieces. So scissors are great. We can use them with copy paper, cardstock, and depending on the thickness of the chipboard, we can use scissors for that as well. So scissors, just cutting along the line to separate these strips. The next thing I have is a paper trimmer. Now this is good for precision cuts. So if you want to be exact with the lines, this is a great option. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up between the two patterns and go ahead and move this down. And here I have a very nice straight line. So doing another one, lining it up and cutting. The paper trimmer can be used as well for the copy paper, cardstock, and maybe if the chipboard is not too thick, you could try it on that. The next thing that I have is a paper cutter, which is different. It's different than the paper trimmer. It's a lot more heavy duty. So this is going to definitely be able to cut chipboard when you're doing your substrates. It may be able to cut cardboard. Cardboard might be a little thick. So same thing that we did with the trimmer, we can do with the paper cutter and line it up and cut a nice straight line. The next thing I want to show you is using an Xacto knife. So when you're using an Xacto knife, I have one here. The other two things that you'll want to have is a self-healing mat. So this is great because it has a ruler on there, and you want an actual ruler. I prefer this metal one. It's got a cork backing, and when I do it with this, I like to put the metal side down so I can get it nice and flush. And here you'll get a nice straight line as well. So just leaning up against the ruler carefully and cutting along. So I'll show you that again. We're just going to line it up. I'm going to be nice and flush and then carefully cut along the ruler. So these are all options to do really nice straight lines. And then the next thing I want to show you is actually just using the ruler to cut. So what you'll want to do is get right along there in between, and you can hold this down. You want to hold that tight, and then you can rip it. This is a nice option to get a little bit of a texture to the cut. So it's a little bit fuzzy here. It gives a nice little texture. So let's do that one again. We're holding it nice and tight and then pulling this up. So it gives a nice straight line with a little texture. The next thing that we can do is just rip it. So not using a ruler, just using our hands. So here I'm going to just go along. It's not going to be exact, but it's giving us a nice textured edge. And I'm going to do another one. So see that? That's a really nice contrast to the straight lines. And this would look wonderful in a collage. So let's do another one. Ripping it. And as you can see, as I rip this paper, there's going to be one side that has some of the white of the pulp of the paper and the other one does not. And I'll show you a little trick to figure out which side is going to have the white edge. When I did this one, I held this paper down and I lifted with this hand. The side that's being held down is typically going to be the side that ends up with the white. So let me show you in the opposite way. Here I'm going to hold this side down and I'm going to lift from this side. So I'm going to start that up, and as you can see, because I'm holding this side down, this is the side with the white paper. This is the one that just has the color paper. So just keeping that in mind. So now this one has white on both edges, and this is another wonderful way to create texture within your collage. And then the last thing I want to show you is using some decorative scissors. We use the all-purpose scissors to cut a nice straight line. And here I have a pair of decorative scissors that have a zigzag pattern. So going along the middle here, it's creating a really nice design and texture that will add interest to the collage. And I'll do one more here. And these scissors, they come in all sorts of different patterns. You can get them as a collection. This happens to be a really old pair, but you can get a collection of them and do all sorts of interesting types of cuts. And there you have it, 7 different ways to cut your sampler strips, each offering a unique touch to your collage art. Whether you prefer the clean lines of a paper trimmer or the textured edges of hand-torn paper, these techniques will help you add variety and creativity to your projects. Using a mix of cutting techniques can create interest and contrast, making your artwork even more dynamic. Don't forget to share your creations with us using the hashtag #MyCollageArtStudio. We'd love to see how you're using these techniques in your art. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you for joining me.